All right, welcome to Survive to Thrive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hey, by the way, I don't know if anybody caught it yesterday, but I said it was Role Play Wednesday. And it was Monday. All right, so why should I hire you? What makes you different? Uh, we're gonna do a little bit of a deep dive on this today. I want you to write down the 4 answers to that question. And the question is, why should I hire you? Or you're calling an expired listing and you hear, what makes you different? And forgive me for a moment because I want I want the whole board to be in there. Okay, it is. So here's your 4 answers to that question. Why should I hire you? I am a local economist of choice. I am an expert at marketing your home to attract the right buyers. I am a strategic pricing professional, and I am a fierce negotiator. All right, one more time. Here we go. So why should I hire you? What makes you different? Here's your answer. I am a local economist of choice. I am an expert at marketing your home in order to attract the right buyers. I am a strategic pricing professional, and I am a fierce negotiator. Now, becoming the local economist of choice, days on market. In your local market, what is the days on market for active listings? And I'm talking about everything that's currently on the market. So currently, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there's actually an average of 80 days on market right now for homes that are for sale. Now, if we looked at that number and we compared it, let's say, to 2021, when there were 6.2 million homes sold. By the way, there were 4.2 million homes sold last year. This year's looking to be similar. In other words, not a whole lot of homes are selling right now. And if we looked at days on the market back in 2021, there was less than 30 days on the market. And today there's an average 90 days on the market. All right. Understand, these are the types of conversations that make you the local economist of choice. Now, you can take this and you can look at those same numbers, and you can make it specific for where they live. In other words, the market could be where I live, could be all of Pinellas County. Now I can narrow that down and say, well, in Palm Harbor, there are actually an average of 100 days on market right now. I can specifically narrow it down to a 2 to 3 mile radius of their home within their price range. And I could keep going here. But know the local days on market, list price to sell price ratio. So when you see a list price to sell price ratio, it is based on the original list price. And do you know what the average list price to sell price ratio in your market is right now? You should. And you should know, how does that compare to your list price to sell price ratio? Let's go back to 2021. The average list price to sell price ratio was probably 101 to 102%, because every listing, Belly, was getting multiple offers and buyers were outbidding one another because the seller had the advantage. Now, fast forward to 2024, when there's 90 days on market, and you look at the list price to sell price ratio, right now it's averaging about 94%. Check your local market and see what your number is. But Belly, I don't live that far from you. And in my local market, same thing goes for Joanne. In my local market, it's about 94% list price to sell price ratio. Super important, guys. We can go into a really deep conversation on this, but we don't have the time. All right, the next thing is inventory. How many homes are currently for sale? So Hilda, right now in Palm Harbor, there's currently 240 homes for sale. By the way, I'm making up these numbers, but know your numbers. This is how you become the local economist of choice. How many homes are currently for sale in your market? These are the types of things that you share with your customers in order to be the local economist of choice. Solds. How many homes have sold in your local market year to date? How many sold last month? How many sold in the last 90 days? How does that number compare to a year ago? Again, go back to 2021 because it was the last great market we were in. How does it compare to that market? Sale price with price reduction versus the sale price without a price reduction. Super important here, guys. So if you could show your clients as a local economist of choice that homes that are selling without a price reduction are selling at 99% of the asking price versus homes that had a price reduction are selling at 94% of the original list price, how is that going to make a difference in them getting their home sold? And as a local economist of choice, it's your job not only to know this, but to be able to convey this in a way to master the art of persuasion. All right, talk to me.
Where do you find out the ones that have price reductions and don't have price reductions? Is there
MLS.
MLS?
Yeah.
So there's actually a graph for that or a section for that?
Yeah, well, you can also, there's also different products that you can purchase or sign up for, like Keeping Current Matters is a really good resource for that, Eric.
All right.
Okay. Now, expert at marketing to the right buyer. So I've got a home that's going on the market. It's important for me to know based on price, location, beds, baths, garage, and amenities. What type of buyer am I looking for? Am I looking for a move up buyer or am I looking for a downsize buyer? It's important for me to know all of this in order to market your listing to the right buyer versus the wrong buyer. And this is one of the things that makes you different. This is one of your answers to why should I hire you? What makes you different than the last stage? Well, I'm an expert at marketing your listing in order to attract the right buyer. We can market, but if we're attracting the wrong buyers, then, then it's not going to sell. And price is a huge part of this because if the right price for this home is $545,000, but we're marketing it at $575,000, we are attracting the wrong buyers. We are attracting buyers, Hilda, that are looking between 550 and 600. And that's the wrong buyer. We're looking for a buyer that's looking between 500 and 550. So it's super important to understand how price affects marketing in order to attract the right buyers. All right, so number 3 on our list is strategic pricing professional. If you look at the market's always either going up or it's steady, it's not going up, it's not going down, or the market is going down and number of homes being sold and price. And typically 0 to 60 days, we're in a hot seller's market, prices are going up. When you get to 90 days, the market flattens out, prices aren't going up, they're not going down. And here's an important thing to keep in mind. This period right here doesn't last very long. Typically speaking, when you're in a market like this period of time could be maybe 3 to 6 months. And then what's coming next is a buyer's market at 120 plus days. Now prices are going down. So it's important for me to know as a strategic pricing professional is actives. How many homes are for sale? And again, when we're having a conversation with a specific seller, now we're going to get really micro. We're going to look at that home within a 2 to 3 mile radius of that home within the same price range. How many homes are currently for sale? How many have sold? How many have sold in the last 6 months? And then we're going to take the number of homes that sold in the last 6 months and we're going to divide it by 6 in order to figure out how many homes are selling every 30 days. And the final answer to this equation is inventory. So the math is B divided by 6 equals 6. The number of homes that sold divided by 6, B divided by 6 equals C. The number of homes that sold in the last 6 months divided by 6 equals the number of homes selling every 30 days. The next part of this equation is A divided by C equals D. So the number of active listings divided by the number of homes selling every 30 days equals inventory. A divided by C equals months of supply. We have a 3-month supply of inventory. We have a 6-month supply of inventory. It's important to be a strategic pricing professional to understand how this works. Not only do we have to understand it at a high level, we have to convey it to our customers in order to master the art of persuasion. All right, finally, I am a fierce negotiator. Number one, be unattached to the outcome. If you want to be a fierce negotiator, you can't be attached. If you need the deal to happen, then you're not going to be a fierce negotiator. So first of all, be unattached. Secondly, what's the motivation? What's the motivation of the seller? What's the motivation of the buyer? Your job as a fierce negotiator is to know what's the motivation of the buyer, what's the motivation of the seller. If I'm representing the seller and I know what the motivation of the buyer is, then I am going to be a better negotiator than if I have no clue. So what's the motivation? Now, seller advantage versus buyer advantage. If I'm priced in the market, excuse me. Okay, that's gonna look great on the video, right, Nathan? If I am priced in the market, that's in the market in the first 30 days, advantage seller. If I am priced above the market, then advantage buyer. And where do I need to be in order I'm representing the seller? Where do I need to be in order to give my seller the advantage? I need to be in the market. Now, somebody's always going to sell somebody, and you're either going to sell your client on pricing their home correctly, or they're going to sell you on, hey, can't we just price it a little bit higher? Because I mean, a buyer could always make an offer, and hey, we can always come down later. Let's go back over here. Sell price to list price without a price reduction versus a price reduction. All right. What makes you different? I'm a local economist of choice. I know the local market better than anybody else does. Here's what that means. I am an expert at marketing your home to the right buyer versus the wrong buyer. Let me explain. Here's what that means. I am a strategic pricing professional, which means, and then I am a fierce negotiator. Let me explain how that works. Now, guys, when you show up at the kitchen table, or if you're on the phone and you're talking to an expired listing, for an example, and they ask you, so what makes you different? And you're able to have the conversation with them that I just had with you, you're going to be different. You've conveyed value. Here's one of the biggest challenges we face in real estate. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. One of the reasons that people don't see our value is because we don't see our value. If you simply take a listing, put it in the MLS, put a sign in the front yard, and then hope somebody else sells it, it doesn't take a whole lot of skill to do that. Now, if you are the local economist of choice, if you are an expert at marketing those listings in order to attract the right buyers versus the wrong buyers, if you are a strategic pricing professional, and if you are a fierce negotiator, then price doesn't matter. Your fee doesn't matter. Price only matters in the absence of value. And if you're simply just taking listings, putting a sign in the yard, and then hoping somebody else will sell it, you're not bringing a whole lot of value to that relationship. If you're working with buyers, all of this goes the same with buyers, by the way. And if you're working with buyers and you're simply just setting them up on a search, taking them to see the homes they want to see, and then writing up an offer when they want to purchase a home, you're not conveying a whole lot of value. And if the public sees you like that, then they don't see your value. And that's why they're questioning your value. When you show up as a local economist of choice, as an expert at marketing homes to attract the right buyers, as a strategic pricing professional, and as a fierce negotiator, nobody's going to argue your value. You can ask for blank and nobody is going to ask you, I want you to lower your fee, because price only matters in the absence of value. And when you've demonstrated amazing value, nobody's going to question your price. This is the reason that I like this market better than the market in 2021, because this is a skill-based market. And the real estate agents who take the time to master these skills are going to rise to the top. All right, talk to me, guys.
Price only matters in the absence of value. I love that, John.
Yeah, it's true.
And when you say absent of value, are you also referring to the absence of the skill of the agent?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, what are you selling, guys? You are not selling a product. You're not selling houses. You're selling your expertise as a real estate agent, your knowledge, your skill.
Yeah, I love that.
If you're simply opening doors, showing homes, and writing offers, well, there's no value in that. Of course, they're having a problem with how much money you make. You guys are thinking I have more to say. I don't. I'm waiting to hear from you.
I think we're processing, John, because this is such a valuable lesson. So it's sinking in and taking notes and rereading and processing.
Well, Joanne, let me ask you a question. So let's fast forward sometime into the future. And you've mastered these skills. How's that affect your business?
It has the potential to double it, triple it, because there's nothing stopping you when you've mastered skills needed.
Okay. What does it do for your confidence?
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah. Is this something that you have to be in the business 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or longer in order to be able to have mastered these skills? Or could you be 1 year in the business and really study this and work this and practice this and drill this? Everything I shared with you is a script. Could you just repeat, duplicate, and deliver exactly what I delivered? And could you do that in less than a year? And if you could do that, would the person that you're speaking to even know that you've only been in the business for a year?
Yes.
The answer to the first part of the question is yes. The answer to the second part is no. No, they're not going to know you've been in the business for less than a year. You're coming across as an expert in real estate, more so than that agent who's been in business 20 years if they haven't learned this. You know, when I was a newer real estate agent, Crystal, one of the things that people would say to me, other agents, and it seemed like there was this magic number. It was 30 years, by the way. And I had a lot of real estate agents say, well, I've been in the business for 30 years. Now, remind you, at that point, I had only been in the business for maybe 2 or 3 years. And my first thought was always, yeah, so what does that mean? How long you've been doing something doesn't make you an expert at doing it. I've been playing golf for 40 years and I still suck.
I see doing this is gaining more time back for myself, Sean.
There you go. Tell me more. Tell me what that means.
Well, because and I'm not literally saying playing, but when you have these three areas mastered, you're really selecting how you want to work, who you want to work with, and
Yeah.
when you want to work, and be okay with it, because your confidence is so high that
Yeah.
you're at a point where you're not at a point where you're just like really, you're creating your own environment, your own narrative. That's what I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So one of the things that happens when I meet with a potential seller is I may choose to turn down the opportunity. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you may be asking why I would do that. And you see, I think you're going to really like the answer. If I feel that a seller has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met or exceeded, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. Does that make sense? That's what Nathan was just saying, guys.
Yeah, and you just spend time where it really matters, meaning not just in business, but like your life.
Yeah. Good job.
The,
Belly,
Hey,
talk about, yeah,
the confidence, when you create this confidence and you are so sure what you're doing, it gets to the point that you know that you learn how to let go of a few things. I noticed, like, if this business is not for me, move on. Let's go to the next one and don't worry about it and just pass that. I have learned that over these couple of years that I've been in real estate, and I learned how to lose. I learned how to let go because it hurts. Don't get me wrong. Like, we want to make sure it happens, the deal happens. But when you are confident and say, you know what, this is not the right way to do it, or maybe this is not the right business for me, just learn how to let go. You grow that confidence and then just, relax and just keep going forward. That's it.
relax. Love that. Okay, so here's what I heard Belly say. Don't be attached. Just focus on the opportunity. So what? Now what? Next. Yeah. Right. There's never going to come a time when there's not enough business taking place in your market for you to hit your goals. I don't care how bad the market gets. It's never going to be so bad that you can't hit your goals. So what? Now what next? All right.
Learn how to let go. One of the hardest things that I have to master. Learn how to let go.
Tell me what that means to you, Belly. Letting go. Tell me what that means to you.
I was, because it happens to me in a deal, and I was so focused on this deal to happen, and quite frankly, I thought it was going to happen, and I was counting with that. And when at the last minute didn't happen, I'm like, I heard I suffer emotionally, financially. A lot of things happen, so I cannot count with these until actually I get everything ready to roll and it happen. So I learned that when it has opportunities and it comes to me, I come to a cross to say, you know what, I don't think this is not for me, and that's okay with that. I'm okay with that, to let it go, and I'm at peace at that. So I think our emotions are going to be affected once we have situations that hurt us emotionally and financially. I get that, but it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to master that. So we have to learn to master that. That's
Well done, Belly. All righty, guys. That's a wrap. Make it a great day.
Thank you.